Hello and welcome to The Lab, a Minecraft podcast where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am Miner Thoughts, and DocM77 might think he has big wood, but there's a man with the best wood, the Troj.
Hello, Mr. Miner Thoughts. How you doing?
I am doing really good, really good. I know it's early for you, not too late for me, so I'm still here. I'm still awake. We're not doing this like I guess it's early for you, but it's not like midnight for me. So
Yeah,
that's what we deal with on this podcast, dealing with these time zones, living on different parts of the planet.
yeah. We've flipped it around for this week to give Miner a break from the lack of sleep, and I've come in straight off a work trip. You might be able to hear it in my voice, folks. My voice is a bit crackly. It's coming into flu season here as well, so let's just get into it, and hopefully my voice lasts. I apologize.
So this week, we got a big surprise in the snapshot. Something I didn't really expect. And within the past couple weeks, we've been getting things that we really did not expect from Mojang. Let's just get into what we got this week. In this week's snapshot is wolf variants. Wolves different types of wolves, different colored wolves, different looking wolves will spawn in different locations. Sometimes they'll spawn in packs. Sometimes in rare instances, they'll only spawn one or two in different biomes. I forget which one. I can't remember the names, but yeah, let's talk about the what we got this week, the wolf.
Yeah, something I didn't probably expect, but it's nice to see. You know, there's cat people and there's dog people in the world, and yes, I know technically it's wolves, but let's face it, everyone looks at them like they're their puppy dogs. And it's nice to see that, you know, us dog people now get some options for different style of dogs. And it's actually got me for the first time thinking, with Interrealms 4 starting, I might actually go out and get myself a puppy dog. And it's the first time I think I've ever had that thought in my brain.
Yeah, myself also. I am working on a super secret project, which you may or may not see at the time of listening to this, that uses the dogs. And to be honest, I'm not really a dog person. I'm more of a cat person. To me, and I told my kids this, you can have your dogs, but they're like, my grandchildren. I'll play with them, but they're going home with you.
I'm very much a dog man. I'm a dog person. Always have been. So yes, I definitely fall on that line. So it was something that definitely put a little smile on my face when I saw it, and I knew straight away. Now they announced that I happened to have been away for the week for work, and usually my kids, they rely on me to tell them, hey, this is what it was announced this week. So I sort of knew what the reaction would be when I got home, and I said to my daughter, I just basically said, hey, come look at this. And I turned the photo around of all the different variants, and her face just dropped, the biggest smile on her face. Oh, puppy dogs. So I think kids are going to love it too. I think and I might be dropping a spoiler here, but for World 4, she's going to be doing a zoo. And I can honestly say she was planning this for well before Scar came out on Hermitcraft 10 for a zoo. She's been planning it for so long. And so she's excited now that she's got more variants of animals that she can put in the zoo. So, I think it's a really actually a good addition. And it go back to what I think it was that we said in the episode where we talk about the new blocks in the bog. This update is feeling like it's a pretty good one. If people get off the bandwagon of bashing everything that ever comes out, if you take a good look at this, you got stuff for the builders, you got stuff for the redstoners, you got stuff for the adventurers. You're getting the little bits that add into things, but it also feels now like they're actually actively listening to some of the feedback that's coming through in terms of what they can add into this update.
And also giving people another reason to get out there and adventure. If they want these different variants, all the variants, some people will collect them all like they do Pokemon. will go out and travel to these different biomes just to get the different types of wolves. So it's just another exploration thing. But a bit on what you were saying about feedback and Mojang, I feel like Mojang is listening. Now, again, I'm not a dog person in real life, not really a dog person in Minecraft. Hopefully that doesn't offend anybody. I'm sorry. It's just who I am. But I think with what they're doing, it's kind of winning me over to Team Dog, Team Armadillo. Well, I didn't vote for the Armadillo, but they're making it worthwhile because I think they're listening. You and I said in I think another episode, or maybe it was just me, said that they're going to have to do something about the dogs because just the armor alone is not going to help the dog. They're still going to die, even with that armor on. I really think they're listening. They gave the dog more health. They've made the armor breakable and repairable. So, and also, you can dye the armor now. And that was another thing that was highly, highly requested. I really think they're listening to us, listening to the community, and actively trying to do things to win the community back over.
Look, I think there's 2 points here I'd like to bring up. The first one is, it's turned out that this dog armor thing is probably a good addition to the game because it's leading to better things. Will I worry about dog armor? I don't know. I'm probably still more likely to go find the dog variant that I want and then take it home and sit in my house so he's nice and safe and I never lose it. Pretty much like real life. You buy a dog, he stays at your home, you go to work, you come home, you take him for a walk, and you put him back. That's how it works. To see some, and particularly larger creators coming out and openly mocking those that voted for the other options, saying, this told you this was the best option, I think is a little bit on the nose, but also it's a little bit short-sighted. Like, okay, I voted for the crab for the ability that it gave you, but who's to say that that would be all that you would get? Just like the dog armor, it was announced, you get the armadillo and you're going to get dog armor. That was it. But as time's gone on, it's evolved. It's getting dyed. The wolves are getting a makeover. We're getting new variants of wolves. Who's to say that if we didn't? Who's to say if we got the crab, it didn't lead to different other things as well? So I was disappointed to see that. I don't think it was required, nor was it needed, because you don't know how it would have played out the other way. I definitely take the point that it was probably a good, in hindsight, it's probably been, a good decision to make. So that's where I'll leave that one there. But following on from that as well, it is good to see that they are listening. Because we've been vocal on this saying, the new mobs that come into the game, like the glow squid, you get the glow squid, you get the ink sac, that's about all you get. The allays came in, no one really uses it. But that's a touchy subject for me right now with the allays and how you can use allays. But we'll touch on that in a future episode. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you will know in a few weeks' time when that episode comes out and why it's touchy. But like the mobs that have been added haven't really added a lot, and it hasn't just been us saying that. It's been a few people that have been saying that, and it's nice to see. Some of this feedback seems to be getting listened to, and I think that's great because for the longest time, there's been that feeling that Mojang's not listening. They're not giving us what we want. There's that whole sentiment that really came up with Caves and Cliffs. That was where it really seemed to, get that us versus them mentality. So it's good to see that they're actively taking steps to, if they had stopped, to start again, or make it more obvious that they do take what we say into consideration.
Right. And I think they're, with this feedback, they are trying to look at things that may have been suggested, or just giving other things in the game, give them an upgrade, like especially with the wolves. They've been in the game for so long, and we got cat variants at one point, and now we're finally getting wolf variants, and they did I don't know exactly. I can only theorize. They did talk about possibly going back and looking at the glow squid, and maybe changing that somehow. The theory is it's going to be something to do with dynamic lighting, because, people complain, says, well, they're a glow squid, but, they really don't give off any light. So maybe they're looking at some way to do dynamic lighting in Minecraft, in vanilla Minecraft, that you don't have unless you're using some kind of mod. That's a possibility of the future. And then, kind of to segue into something that I didn't expect to see, but it was suggested by the community, was that, hey, in these trial chambers you're bringing out in the next update, some of these skeletons are shooting poison-tipped arrows. And when we kill them, we get poison-tipped arrows. So the suggestion was, why not make it a different skeleton variant? And we got...
I think they're definitely listening. They're definitely listening.
Yeah. And then I was really impressed with the texture of the bog. They kind of had, because it's in the swamp, it's got mushrooms in its head. And I think it was 1 or 2 snapshots later, they updated the texture to make those mushrooms more prominent. And now you can shear these, bog skeletons to get mushrooms. It's another way to get mushrooms. And I believe that was yet another suggestion.
It was interesting to see Rebel JC, our friend over at Dig Straight Down podcast. He tagged me on Twitter when that one came out, and I was saying, how is that intuitive? It's another one to add to the list. No other mob do you shear apart from the mushroom, but no other hostile mob do you shear to get a resource. How are you going to think, I need to get close to this guy and shear him? I agree with that comment. Like, we're adding in another thing that's not intuitive to the game. It's interesting, not something that I would necessarily have seen as logical to add, but it's in the game. So
yeah, and that may be another episode, a kind of a second look at the intuitiveness of the game, or because even after our feedback episode about the intuitiveness of the game, my son Josh, or the bearded bard, he said, you missed my point. So we may have to look at that again. I don't know. We'll see.
Did we though?
Future.
Did we though?
Well, I don't think we did.
Well, he's welcome to send more feedback through, and we'll discuss it on the next feedback episode as well. But yeah.
What do we know? We're just 2 old men playing Minecraft. In his words,
back in my day, when we had to crank up our computer, literally. But no, look, it is good to see that they at least outwardly are making it more obvious and clear that they are listening to the suggestions. I honestly do believe that this update, 1.21, is shaping up to be a very, very nice update. It's got so much for everything. One of my early ideas, when they first announced the crafting, you'd be able to attest to this. My one of my first thoughts for World 4, knowing that it was coming up for Interrealms, was going to be doing like a create thing where everything could be automated. And then I went away from that idea because I just wanted to be more of a build focused sort of season for myself. So it was good to see Tango actually had the same idea and is now going full hog on that with Hermitcraft 10. So I'm really enjoying his videos, despite the fact that he's copying unwanted criticism for custom models. Like, I think, come on guys, let's relax a little bit here. But that's a different topic. Again, for down the track. This update really seems like it's going to have a nice addition for every playstyle in Minecraft. The adventurers, the mini gamers, the builders, the redstoners. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's going to be one of the better updates out there. And I'm just hoping you get that vocal minority that like to say they've lost their way, they don't know what they're doing. I think this one is really bringing it in. I would absolutely love to see blow us away again. And they say, oh, by the way, here's the birch forest. Because that would shut up all those that whined and complained, saying, oh, you guys said that you were going to update the birch forest with the, what do you call it, the artwork?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they call that artwork. My brain is shutting down a little bit because A, it is early, and B, I'm not feeling 100%.
Concept art.
Thank you. I'm glad someone's brain is alert and active on this episode. Thank you very much. Yeah, the concept art, I think that would just shut everyone down. They're leaving it to the end. That's what I would really love to see. And if not that one, another biome. I mean, like, probably the savanna probably makes sense because of armadillo, but to see something like that, preferably also with a new wood variety, would be awesome. Not just because I'm the woodman, but always adding new things like that is always a good thing. And, spiced wood for the longest time was being rumored. But, again, does that come just back down to those that are just clickbaity YouTubers? Or was there actually substance to it? I don't know, but I'd like to see I think if they did that, I think that would make it just such this well-rounded, all-round update. And I don't think it would give anything to complain about to anyone.
But, I know Spicewood, it was kind of like one of those Roger Badgerman things that was not confirmed, and we haven't seen anything yet. But, this is just my lab theory. I still go back to thinking that they may look at that biome vote that they did, where you had the baobab tree, and which was, I believe it was in the Badlands. And with the armadillo spawning both in the Badlands and the Savannah now, I think that would be a good addition. But that's just my opinion. That's just my theory. But that was mentioned in one of the biome vote things. If you take them at their word, if you take Mojang at their word, they said, this is the biome we'll do this year, which gave us the goats and the snowier snow and things like that. But the others will get done eventually.
I think eventually they'll probably work their way through all the biomes and give them an update over time. And I know this is supposed to be more of a wolves discussion, but it seems like we've migrated into an update as a whole discussion, which I think is totally fine. The one thing I would like them to do with the troll chambers, if there was one thing that I could suggest, was put something on the surface that would indicate A, that there was a troll chamber there, and B, lead you to the intended starting room. Now, if you don't know much about the troll chambers, I only just started looking at them myself because when we were generating the world for World 4, the Interrealms, I made a boo-boo and I accidentally had troll chambers spawn in initially. So I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll have a look. Now, there's a very clear intended starting room for a troll chamber, and it's got 4 beds in it and bits. So that's obviously the one where it's saying, hey, set your spawn point. But there's no way that I could see that you would intuitively know. Sorry, Josh, I don't mean to be an old man, but I don't know how you could intuitively accidentally come across a troll chamber and be right smack bang at that room. So I'd like them to see something like the trail ruins, something on the surface that indicates directly below this thing is A, a troll chamber, but B, this is the starting room.
Yeah, exactly. And the Y level that they spawn at is fairly low, I believe, in most of these. And Rebel JC, he actually brought that question up to his community. Plug Rebel JC again. That how would you know? What are some ideas on how we could find? And would it be some kind of item that we, like the Eyes of Ender, where we have to throw to find the stronghold? Or would it be something, my suggestion was have the new tree signify this is where underground is a trial chamber. Just like, the azalea tree will let you know that there's a lush cave underneath. So that was my idea. But I don't know, who knows how they will do this, because otherwise you're going to have spaghetti digs. It's going to be like people looking for these things everywhere.
Well, it makes sense, like most underground things have some sort of signifier. For the most part, your ancient cities have the big mountain on top of them. For the most part, not all, but for the most part, that's how it seems to generate. As you said, the lush caves have the azalea tree. The trail ruins have the little things, the terracotta poking out the top. So the troll chambers, I think, is something that everyone's going to want to find and have fun with, and A, for those that have fun with, but B, also for those of us that want an easy source of ready-made copper ready to go. I think, they're going to be a sought-after location. So, yes, hopefully they do bring something. Maybe the wolves can sniff them out. Who knows?
That kind of makes sense.
We're talking about the wolves, and it was just an idea that struck me. Maybe that gives another use to the wolves. Maybe that is what encourages you to take the wolf out of your base, is that you can give them something, let them sniff copper, I don't know, give them something that makes them head off in a various direction. And you've got to, like the Eye of Ender, giving it to them so that they know, oh, this is where I got to go. And they lead you to the nearest trial chamber.
This is a moment in history. We're calling it. If this happens, you heard it here first on the lab.
It's literally an idea that just struck me. I actually think it's a good one, personally.
In the coming weeks, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they don't make us dig holes everywhere just to find these trial chambers. I'm not really worried about finding them. I'm really wondering what special loot those vaults are going to get.
Yeah, it's going to want to be something decent.
That's hopefully they're listening to the community as well on suggestions for that. That it's going to be something worthwhile. Like we go to the end to get shulkers. Maybe we'll go to these trial chambers to get something that you can only find there.
Time will tell. Every day that goes by, we are getting closer and closer to the release. So, let's wait to find out. But, Miner, I am really keen to hear what people's thoughts are on that wolf idea of using the wolves to find the trial chambers. If people want to give us those ideas and give us feedback, how do they do such?
You can find us on... Sorry.
You can't reach us, folks. Sorry, we're all closed down right now.
You can simply talk to us down here in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube or listening. Just type your thoughts, your ideas, your feedback right down here in the comment section. Make sure you give us a like, and if you're a new person listening to the podcast, hey, subscribe. And then you could also find us over on X at MC_, or M. You can find us over on X or Twitter if you want it at M. What is it?
We're only new to this podcasting thing, folks. We've only been doing it now into our third year, but we're learning.
What is it? I totally forgot what it was.
Let's redo this whole part.
Okay. Or you can find us over on X or Twitter if you prefer at MCLab_podcast. You can email us, minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. And you can also connect with us over on the interrealmssmp.com website. We've got events coming up. If you're listening to this, we've got World 4 opening up real soon.
At time of listening, Miner, it actually opened up last weekend. And at time of listening, we're currently in a live stream weekend. So obviously, hopefully that's going well. Hopefully. It's shaping up to be our longest one yet. At the moment, the longest we've done is 34 hours between all of us. At the time of recording this, we're currently sitting at 34 hours scheduled straight from the Interrealms SMP server.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's still people asking for more slots. So, hopefully it's going well.
And lastly, if you want to talk to us in person, if you want to give us feedback, we've had a couple people find our Discord, the Interrealms SMP Discord, through this podcast. And I forget the names, but we will shout them out. Dab Play was one that made his way over to the Discord. That will be down in the description if you choose to just talk to us in person, so to speak.
And the posh Jerry was the most recent one that popped into the Discord and saying, hello. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And people are finding the Discord through podcasts, and we appreciate that. That way you can give us feedback live and in person.
Indeed.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. I really, you're right. This update, the 1.21 update, whatever that name is going to be, is shaping up to be something special. And I think it comes down to a couple of things where where Mojang has tried to reconnect with the community, tried to listen to the feedback, and
I think it's got really good potential here to be one of the better updates in quite some time. And I'm looking forward to seeing everything that comes out from it. On Internals World 4, we've already got the new blocks. We're already playing with those. We've done what Hermitcraft did and basically brought those forward so we could start using them. But the rest of it that comes with it, sort of looking forward to getting my hands into that. As long as they have new wood.
New wood. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Oh, I'm supposed to do the intro right now, aren't I?
Usually, yeah. That's usually how it works.
I had a brain fart, and I just gave you the outro. Ta-da!
Thank you. Appreciate that.